More sponsors, Pochettino, and wow, what a day. Oh my lord, a lot of us thought that this day could be coming around the horizon, but when it happens, it is still a shock. I woke up today thinking this could just be one regular ass Monday, one normal ass Monday. But boy, I couldn't have been further from the truth, because Jesse Marsh has been sacked. Oh my lord. Is this the right time to sack him? Is it the right decision to sack him? Who do we bring in now? There are so many questions to delve into. And the first ones being, who the hell is going to manage Leeds United in the immediate short term? Okay, in the immediate short term, we have got Manchester United in 2 days. Okay, we are not going to be able to bring someone in and then get them ready enough to manage a side within that 2 days. We'd be lucky to get someone in that's ready to manage us for the return game against Man United. So serious question marks have to be asked about the timing of the sacking. Furthermore, sacking him 5-6 days after the shutting of the January transfer window. Why would you not do it before the transfer window? Why would you not do it and allow another manager to come in and make some of his own signings? Why would you give Jesse Marsh an entire transfer window and then sack him? Serious question marks again have to be asked about the timing of this, the decision of this, and the fact that we've sacked him with reportedly no one ready to line up and fill his position. This is very, very questionable if you ask me. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% against the move. Do not get me wrong. I feel like results and performances had got to a point where he had to go, unfortunately, and I would never call for his head, because I'm not that kind of guy personally. I'm not saying anything bad about anyone that would. Just for me personally, I don't ever feel right calling for a man to be sacked or hating on a man. I thought he kept us up last year and he did some good things. So first of all, I want to say shout out to you, Jesse Marsh. I think you're a great human being. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, and thank you for all the good memories you gave me. But unfortunately, he wasn't getting a tune out of the players. We weren't defending well or offending well. And when you can't do either of those two, let alone both of them, you're in serious, serious problems when you're in the Premier League. And he had to go. He had to go. But the question now arises, who do we replace him with? I still don't think the timing was right, as I said before. But nonetheless, we are, it had to happen. It had to happen at some point, and you could say maybe sooner rather than later. But who do we bring in now with such short times to do it? The turnaround of that Man United game is really starting to scare me. And ironically enough, Jesse Marsh actually does alright against against the big teams, against the teams that we're not supposed to beat. So is this a completely wrong time to sack him? I don't know. But some of the available coaches that we could be looking at are these boys here. That is right. Tite, 61 years old. Thomas Schneider, 50 years old. Joachim Löw, 63 years old. And now we start to get into some of the exciting stuff, don't we? Mauricio, Pochettino, Luis Enrique, and Thomas Tuchel, 3 of the top runners for the team. 1.68 points per game, which is really, really shocking for Pochettino if you think about it, considering he's managing PSG in Ligue 1. And Luis Enrique, conversely, when he was at Barcelona, getting 1.97 points per game, and Thomas Tuchel 1.93 points per match at Chelsea. Now, which one of the 3 would pick your poison? Which one of the 3 would be the guy that would get the best tune out of these players? The first guy that I'm hearing everybody talk about is Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino, obviously things didn't work out for him at PSG. Things started to go bad at Tottenham, hence why he was sacked. But everyone kind of looked at it at the point of his time was done at Tottenham anyway, and it was time to move on amicably, because he wasn't going to be able to get what he wanted still at Tottenham when he was underserved and underfunded. Kind of sounds like a similar story that Leeds had ourselves just a year ago now. But let's delve into Mr. Mauricio Pochettino just a little bit. He has won 3 trophies in his career, obviously all coming while he was at PSG. He is a French Cup winner. He is a French Super Cup winner, And he is the French Ligue 1 champion. That is right, he finally has a Ligue 1 title to his name, or rather a league title to his name, which, let's be real, he obviously wasn't going to get at Spurs. Now, what would he do with Leeds? How would he play with Leeds? How would he fit Leeds' system? Now, a lot of the criticisms that Pochettino usually gets is that his styles are more developed for not necessarily such a teamwork kind of base. They're high team pressing, high octane, which a lot of the players we have would already fit right into that Pochettino system of playing that high octane, expansive, aggressive football. But they also rely quite a bit on individual flair and individual talent, which Leeds have a lot of. You could see Wilfried Gnontos, Sinisterras, Rutters really starting to shine in this Pochettino system, and a system in which they will finally be given a bit more license to attack, because right now Leeds, we don't attack very, very well as a unit. A lot of people like to say we're where we are because of our finishing ability, which partially is true, but we don't create well. We don't carve teams open enough. And I think with a guy like Pochettino in charge, I think we could. I think the reason it didn't work out for him at PSG is because it's a poison chalice over there. The egos and the stuff that he has to manage there compared to a side like Leeds, where he's got a lot more hungry youngsters around him. Completely different ball game, and I think things would work out a lot better for him there. But that is Pochettino anyway, 50 years of old, Argentine. Is he your favorite? Let me know down below. Now, the next guy who I think would actually be very likely to take over the Leeds role compared to the other two would be Luis Enrique. That is right. Luis Enrique, obviously former Spain manager, and actually held a lot of criticism from Spanish people that I spoke to for how he managed them during the World Cup. Apparently, during the World Cup, they weren't happy with his striking choices. Should have taken Rodrigo Moreno. What's going to happen if he goes over to Leeds and he's got to look Rodrigo Moreno in the eyes and explain how he took Alvaro Morata over Rodrigo Moreno? Might be a little bit of questionable things going on there, right? But nonetheless, he still does play some good football. Is he the type of guy that's going to be able to get Leeds defending well? Is he the type of guy that's going to be able to get some of the underperforming players up to a higher standard? That we don't know. But what he can do is really express the flair players, bring a certain tiki-taka style. It's not a Pep Guardiola style, but some of the most beautiful football that they did play was under Luis Enrique. That is when MSN was firing on all cylinders for Barcelona, was under Luis Enrique. Now, again, what kind of formation would he be using? Similar to Pochettino, they would be deploying a 4-3-3. What does this mean for McKennie and Adams? It means they won't be playing as a 2, but instead you'll probably be having Adams as the holding midfielder back, and it would give McKennie a little bit more license to go forward. Would you see Rocker feature in that system next to him as well, potentially? Or would you see Aronson, someone sit back? Now, it probably would lead to a position where you're going to have to drop one of Sinisterra, Somerville, or Gnonto, but at least it gives us some sort of depth to go into. And the next choice, however, that's Luis Enrique. Before I do go into the next choice, should I say, let me know what you guys think about those two first. But my number one choice will be this man, Thomas Tuchel. Wow. I mean, the trophies, the accolades say it for themselves. UEFA Super Cup winner, 2 times French champion, 1-time FIFA World Cup manager, 1-time world's best club coach, should I say. And the big one, the big is the Champions League trophy. The guy is a serial winner, 49 years old, 1 year junior to the other two. He plays a unorthodox 3-4-2-1 at times. He has changed it to a 4-3-3. He is very expansive in some of the games that he played, or rather not expansive, that's the wrong word. He is an expansive depth of knowledge of multiple systems, and he can deploy whatever he needs when the game suits him right. And he is great at managing out individual games, which is why he does well in cup competitions, why he did very well in the Champions League for Chelsea. He didn't just win it, he got them to the semi-final the year after that. He does the business in the big competitions. Okay, he's a very, very competent manager, and he did very well at both Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain before he was gone. Now, the reason why he had been sacked from those clubs is because he's a guy who has a bit of an ego and he clashes a bit with a lot of players. Once it gets to a couple of years, a lot of the players seem to fall out with him a bit. But if he can get Leeds challenging and he can get Leeds maybe winning an FA Cup in there in the interim, I'm certainly not complaining. And also, there's a lot less egos at a club like Leeds than there are at a club like Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea, where there are a lot of high-paid egos. And it could also open the door to a lot of other potential signings in the summer that want to link back up with Tuchel, the likes of an Aubameyang or other players like that. So it will be very exciting on that front. Furthermore, I mean, the guy is just different gravy. We saw what he did at Chelsea, where he picked up over Frank Lampard halfway through the season, and he won them the Champions League that year. A Chelsea side who were severely underperforming under Frank Lampard, he came in, quickly managed to fix them, get them playing a lot stronger style of football. And for me, if he could do that at Chelsea, he could definitely do that at Leeds. And that would be my number one choice. And he is currently a 20-1 favourite. The highest favourite right now is, of course, Carlos Corberan, who is doing magical things over at West Brom. But above those, the three big names mentioned are the three I said here: Pochettino, Enrique, and Tuchel. Obviously, if we do look back across the list, there are still other names like Rafael Benitez, but for me, Benitez is past it. He's past it. I don't want him. I saw what he did at Everton. I wasn't impressed at all. He's not going to help Leeds stay up. Frank Lampard, again, no. Absolutely no. Steven Gerrard, before this Villa role, I would have taken him. And if you look at his points per match, actually, 1.97 points per match is actually pretty damn high if you compare it to everyone else. And considering he was at Villa recently, but that obviously does also take into account his time over at Rangers. But nonetheless, Steven Gerrard's an interesting option. I'd obviously take him over Frank Lampard, but I don't want him. And Ralph Hasenhuttl, again, is my least... okay, maybe along with Frank Lampard, my least favourable option of the few. I do not want to go near him. These guys who it hasn't worked out for in the Premier League is not the guys that we should be looking at to work it out in the Premier League for Leeds now. If it hasn't worked out for them in the past recently, it's not going to work out for them now. Not for me. Get them away from me. And then finally, obviously, the flammering out for the second we lost Bielsa is his old protege, Carlos Corberán. That is right, he obviously now manages West Bromwich Albion. He's done a fantastic job over at West Brom. But could he be finally lined up for the big time? He is apparently a 5-4 favourite according to Bet Victor, and the current Baggies manager has caught the eye of a few Premier League teams, but obviously that link between Leeds is not going away at all. Albion currently fighting for a promotion, obviously. Is he going to want to leave a promotion side? I don't know. One of the big things when he was first talking about taking over Bielsa in the first place was he wanted to replicate what Bielsa did. He wanted to get a side up from the Championship himself before thinking about moving over to Pastures Green. He wanted to have his own successful project. Obviously, last year, he managed to get Huddersfield all the way to a playoff final, which, if it wasn't for dodgy VAR decisions, allegedly, they could have and really should have got promoted over Nottingham Forest. So he really should be in the Premier League right now, if you look at it that way. The job he's done at West Brom in taking them from what was a really floundering side to a side now really in the battle for promotion. He's done a very good job, and he's proven at two different clubs now he can do it in the Championship. Does that mean he can do it at a club like Leeds, in the big league, in the Premier League? I'm not 100% sold of it. And I know he's probably the most likely option. And I know everyone's going to turn around and they're going to say, what do you think? You fucking crazy? Think you can get Pochettino? You can get Thomas Tuchel? Are you off your rocker? But do you remember what they were saying when we were first linked with Bielsa? We laughed them out the room when we turned around and we said, hey, let's go for a gamble. Let's go and try and see if we can get Bielsa. They're like, nah, no chance. You're never going to get him. Went and had a phone call with him. Called the phone. Didn't answer. Rang the phone again. Didn't answer. Rang the phone the next day. By the time Bielsa picked up, he had already watched 8 whole entire Leeds United matches. Bang. They got talking. And it was done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Things can happen. You throw your hat in the mix, you show a bit of ambition. Next thing you know, you're walking through to Thomas Tuchel, opening the doors to Ellen Road. things can happen like that. And for me, that is my number one choice. Carlos Corberán is probably the most likely and probably the one who will end up taking over at Leeds United. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys would want. Do you want Poch? Do you want Enrique? Do you want Tuchel? Do you want Corberán? But give me a reason why. Give me a reason why, because I guarantee the majority of you are going to say Poch. But give me a reason why Poch. What does Poch do with this group of players that means that he's perfectly suited for Leeds manager? Let me know down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.